Well, I think the slowdown will be quite substantial already in the second quarter, but we are talking about the third quarter here with this data. I think third quarter will be much weaker. PMIs show that companies are now feeling the pain of a much weaker consumer spending. Consumers are feeling the squeeze of real disposable income due to the cost of living crisis, and companies have now realized that this is going to get real, and will actually slow manufacturing and business activity quite substantially going to the third quarter. So I think most likely we will see a negative GDP data in Europe in the third quarter, but some countries might record a negative number already in the second quarter of this year. So effectively, the Eurozone and more broadly Europe is going into recession.
Okay, well, very strong words there. Let's talk about the other part of the equation, which is inflation. We had the Eurozone inflation numbers come out on Friday showing that it is now at a 40-year high, above 8.5 percentage points. These are numbers I never thought I would ever see in the Eurozone, and yet here we are. How do you see things panning out there? Because it seems to me that a lot of the uptick in inflation is driven by so-called transitory factors, the big jump in energy prices, the big jump in food prices. Those headwinds should start to subside in coming months.
Yeah, it should. However, there is a big question mark related to how the war in Ukraine will unfold, and how Russia will, provide gas to Europe. If we are going towards rationing, as it looks like, there will be further increases in energy cost, and that will feed through the rest of the consumption basket. Keep in mind that there are some items within inflation that feel the pain of higher energy prices with a lag. Typically, if you see an increase in gas prices, with a lag you see an increase in fertilizers, and then with another lag you see the increase in food prices. So my feeling is that even if we might have reached the peak in terms of energy prices, there are a number of items that will have a lagged effect, and therefore my feeling is that inflation will stay pretty high and probably will go somewhat higher between now and the end of this year. So the decline in inflation will be pretty much a story of next year, meaning that we will see further peaks in inflation before we see a downturn.
Lorenzo, if